Welcome, Spartans, to Mission Debrief. We're playing every mission of the mainline Halo video game series in chronological order, discussing our experiences and sprinkling in a little lore along the way. If you'd like to play along and have your thoughts read on the show, email us at podcastevolved@gmail.com or drop us a tweet at podcastevolved on Twitter. We'll be playing the Regret mission on the next episode. This episode, we're debriefing Delta Halo from Halo 2. I'm your host, Colin Perkins, alongside David Arnold.
Hello, everybody.
And Krista Brown.
There are 2 Halos. How could this be?
On his way, last mission, on his way to neutralizing the heretic, the Arbiter encounters the Flood. Urtas and his contingent help Thel slice their way through the overrun mining facility and eventually cut the cord that's dangling the structure. With the facility in freefall, the Arbiter tracks down and murders Sessa Rafumi before Tartarus shows up and brings everyone, including 343 Guilty Spark, back to High Charity. This mission, we're back to Chief, so the In Amber clad emerges from slipspace outside of another Halo. Keyes orders Cortana to give her as much information on the Halo as possible, and then orders Chief and Johnson to figure out why the Prophet of Regret came to this second Halo. Our heroes do just that with the help of a healthy UNSC weapon and vehicle arsenal. Lots of boom in this mission. The date of the game, the date of the mission is November 2nd, 2552, which is 2 weeks from the previous mission. 2 weeks.
That's a lot of time.
So does that mean that it's far away? Or does slip space just takes a long time or longer than we think?
Well, wasn't the Alpha Ring from Halo 1 was the closest ring to the Milky Way galaxy, I think. So this one's even farther away from that one.
That's a good point. Mm-hmm.
No, it's all in the Milky Way galaxy. So I think you just mean closest to...
Yeah, to the Sol System.
Reach.
Yeah.
Sol System, whatever Reach take.
Well, Reach isn't the Sol System, but yeah, it's the closest one to Reach, because that's where they skedaddled from, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So 2 weeks is a long time, long ways away, so they're twiddling their thumbs, playing lots of checkers
They're also using Covenant slipspace technology, because they're kind of piggybacking on the Corvette.
That's true.
So, I mean, the Covenant slipspace technology is a little more advanced than the humans at this point, meaning that they're more precise in, where the coordinates are and how, humanity are just we need to get to this rock. Just don't teleport us into the rock.
Yeah.
While the Covenant are we want to be, about 3 minutes from landing.
Right.
Just a little bit to the north, whatever. I don't know coordinates, so...
Good job, Krista.
I know.
So who wants to take us through? This is a great opening cutscene. Who wants to take this
it's
one?
Awesome.
It's beautiful. It's so beautiful.
Krista, do you want to do it?
Yep. So you see the Covenant ship come out of slipspace with a bunch of buildings and debris, and in that debris is In Amber clad, and of course everyone's like, excuse me, but there seems to be some kind of object. And then they're like, oh, I wonder what it is. And Cortana's like, that's another Halo, guys.
Yep.
We made it. We did it. We made it to Halo 2.
Yay,
But Cortana knew this, right? Because we knew that from the first Halo. She knew there was more out there.
Yes. Well, Cortana would have, but, it also depends, because Cortana also inhaled a lot of data from accessing that one Halo.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the things the Forerunners did was make the other Halos invisible to each other, so someone can't go from Halo to Halo. I'm pretty sure that was a thing.
Right.
Because the monitors don't know exactly where the other monitors are, right? They just know how to contact each other.
Yeah, I think it's in a lot of the Forerunner trilogy books of how at the end of the war, Foreigners very much compartmentalized a lot of their information.
Yeah, just so that everyone doesn't have access to everything.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So, I mean, downloading the data from that Halo, who knows what Cortana knew about the other Halos? She might have known that they existed, but, because she didn't know about certain things later in the series that happened, so who knows?
Well, no, she discovered the array, right?
I think so, because I think doesn't Guilty Spark say that when connected to the other array, it has a range of X.
Oh, it does, yeah.
There's a throwaway comment there about that, so we knew there was more than one.
Yep.
Okay, so she says, that's another Halo. everyone's like, big gasp, mic drop, music plays, credits roll.
That's right.
But, Sergeant John, everyone's very shocked. And then, of course, Miranda kind of is living on the legacy of her father at this point.
Yeah, but Miranda's awesome. Like, these next couple missions.
Miranda's amazing.
Miranda's a stud. Right.
She's definitely a little more useful than Keyes was in Halo 1, but of course she's like, oh, this is what my father found. She wants to know more information about it. Immediately the strategy starts, coming to fruition and, get people on the ground, get stuff figured out, find Regret, because the main mission right now is to keep finding Regret. So that's about all that happens. Master Chief drops. Sergeant Johnson loads up in a Pelican. I do like the camaraderie between Sergeant Johnson and Master Chief, and the banging on the ODST pod. Kind of say, yeah, let's go.
I like the part where Johnson chokes on a cigar too.
Yes.
Yeah. Say what?
On the main channel, we just went through Silent Storm, so that kind of talks a little more about Sergeant Johnson and Chief. So it kind of is a cool moment now that we know a little bit more about their relationship. But that's basically the cutscene.
Well, then we drop on. We hop in the pods and drop.
Yeah, you get the
that is
awesome
really
drop.
Cool. And then we make a lot of noise.
That's right.
I do like the jackal, totally harassing that poor grunt.
Yeah.
With it's like a bear toy or something.
So, very awesome bits of trivia, guys. So, during the opening cinematics of Halo, Grunt can be seen playing with different toys depending on the difficulty. On easy, he plays with a stick and dirt. On normal, it's with a plasma grenade. On heroic, it's with fire. And on legendary, it's with a Master Chief doll. And the Grunt doll's in his hand. The objects disappear shortly after UNSC after the pods drop in. And then in the Blur cinematics for Halo Anniversary, the Grunt toys are all beyond the difficulty. So this time the Jackal is dangling a doll above the Grunt, who's beginning at the blah blah blah. So the dolls drop in is either a Urdideck on easy, Librarian on normal, John on heroic, and a Rampant Cortana on legendary.
Whoa.
Oh, that's really cool. I didn't actually notice that. I'll have to rewatch that cutscene a couple times now.
On all the different difficulties. That's cool.
It's interesting because a lot of these characters, if you're playing the series in chronological order, you don't know half of those characters.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm guessing Rampant Cortana is just pink Cortana?
I'm not sure. I've never seen it. And I know I've done it on legendary, but I don't remember noticing that.
Alright, before we get too far down into things that we shouldn't know about yet, let's talk about these ruins. What's going on with these ruins? It's weird. I feel like aesthetically it's cool because you're on this unknown, Forerunner ring thing. But do the Forerunners live in these ruins? Do they work in these ruins? Why are there ruins here?
So, I was actually trying to look up more information about Delta Halo, and there's actually not that much known about Delta Halo. Probably the best theory I could come up with was the Halos were basically zoos. I mean, they were preservation sites, which means other species lived on these rings. The Forerunners never lived on the rings. They just worked on the rings.
Okay,
and these are obviously some kind of stone, very primitive buildings. So it could either be something from ancient humanity, ancient Sangheili, or some other species we don't even know about that resided on the ring before the rings fired to collect and index them for the librarian.
That makes sense.
So that's because it's really highlighted throughout the entire mission, this one and the next one, these ruins of these stone buildings. And they're right next to the Forerunner, the very, silvery metal, kind of very sci-fi buildings.
Right.
There's an obvious distinction. So
I'm guessing
of
them have kind of interesting integrated tech, and I'm thinking about the start of this mission where you activate a bridge, you go into this stone ancient temple and have all these uber buttons and holographic things and that you activate. So I didn't get the impression.
It was in more of a Forerunner building though, wasn't it?
I don't know. The aesthetic of the buildings all seem the same. They're all ruined stone brick.
I think that building was more of a Forerunner building.
Me? Okay.
That one.
Because I think there was a big distinction between the brown buildings and the more silvery buildings.
Or maybe it was just the interior was more silvery, or at least
Because you see the Forerunner buildings out on the lake, because they're like, these are the buildings we need to get going to, because that's where Regret is. And those are bluish, silvery, very Forerunner-esque. Yeah. And these ones are completely different aesthetically.
So let's talk about the drop zone area. I guess this encounter in general is fun, because you start with a rocket launcher. And you start blowing stuff up. It just kind of sets the tone for what you're going to be doing on this mission. I asked the community, and we'll get to it later, kind of what is the better first mission on a Halo. And they're very different, because this one kind of just throws you into the fray right away, whereas in Combat Evolved, it's kind of a slow build to more and more aggressive combat. But by now, we kind of know what we're doing, so it kind of throws you right into the mix. And you get to there's the Covenant that's dug in here, waiting for you, and then they also come and bring a couple drops as well.
So I think the intro was really cool. I loved how it started, and apparently Bungie had plans to begin the level where you actually as Chief in the pod. So in the same way as ODST started, where you actually are Chief in first person inside the pod.
Yeah.
2 Pelicans would fly by the window in the pod. Your player would then have to save from the turrets when you see in the opening cutscene, but they cut it out. The intro, but so it's just a cutscene as opposed to you actually playing in cool. the. It'd be really cool. Yeah. As it is, it's still an awesome cutscene.
Yeah, no, it's good, and this whole little area is good. You clear out the area originally, and then you kind of radio into Johnson that the landing zone's clear, but then some more Phantoms are inbound. So you got to deal with the drops, and then eventually, once you clear out the area, then you get a Warthog, right?
Yay, Warthog!
Yay!
Yeah, it's Warthog time.
Oh my, that Pelican drop is so slow. I'm just like sitting there like, it's coming. Oh, it's gonna happen. I'm gonna get that Warthog. It's gonna happen soon. It's just like, oh my god.
Did you guys drive the Warthog, or did you take the gun this time?
I drove it.
Yeah. You don't really have far to go.
No.
I just nixed a ghost as soon as I could after that, though.
You did,
just abandoned the Warthog, yeah.
Yeah, so you hop in the Warthog, you just kind of go up a little area, kind of up a little hill, and then kind of down a hill, clear out all the Covenant there, and then that's where you get to that structure that David was talking about, where there's a Wraith on the other side that's just annoying.
Griefing you, yeah.
And you can take it out with the Warthog if you want, or you can just I guess you could just let it keep firing. But there are quite a bit of Covenant within the building, so you need to clear that area out before you can get inside. And then you see a hologram of Regret, right? And does that one talk too? I didn't sit there and stare at that one.
It doesn't talk in English. It does kind of the hymns.
Okay.
The chant,
in the different language, yeah.
And that's where the terminal's inside there too.
Yeah, it's on the left wall.
So the terminal's there, and then is it in that same room? Because I missed the button for the bridge the first time. I kind of ran around and then
it's
came
in the
back
same
and found
room.
it. It's all in the same room. Okay. So the terminal's in there, and then the button to. And did you watch the bridge kind of go down? It slides down the side of the building.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
Yeah, super cool to see that. I just kind of stared at that and like, ooh.
It's a really cool set piece.
And there's that waterfall in the background, just really setting the mood, just setting that killing mood.
You take me to the nicest places.
Exactly. And then another Wraith shows up, as well as some ghosts and a banshee. So hitting that button does lots of things.
Well, and also we get a present.
We do get a present. My favorite.
We get a wonderful present, and just like the other one, it's like, oh, it's coming! I see it. See it up there.
Oh yeah, I didn't get outside and see it. It floats in from a ways away.
Yeah, and if you don't kill the Wraith before that, man, that Pelican can take a lot of Wraith shots.
Oh,
the
really?
Wraith just keeps peppering it. It's really funny. I'm like, wow, that's like the 5th Wraith shot that hit you directly, Sergeant Johnson. You're doing a really good job. I don't know what kind of tech you have in there.
It's the best Pelican they ever made. It refuses to crash.
It's the only one that hasn't crashed.
So now it's good times with the Scorpion, and my Scorpion was on fire as always. That's just That's just
Mine was
par for
too,
the course.
even on
Yours
normal.
was two this time?
Towards the end, mine was on fire
Yeah,
as well.
I got a lot of hits.
Mm-hmm.
You take
There's
a lot of hits in this
lot
segment.
of ghosts. Like, they are swarming around you.
There's a lot of ghosts, and then you get flanked a lot in general because you're slowly moving forward, and then all of a sudden, like, you poke through an area, and then you're getting smoked from all sides. Yeah, so we go through this kind of tunnel thing, and then kind of find some more ruins, and it's just lots of ruins areas here, right? Where we continue to proceed through in our tank, take out as much, and it's all Covenant. It's all pretty much this mixture of blue and red and jackals and grunts. Just everybody throwing everything that they can at us.
Yeah, it's just a lot of... It's basically the rest of this mission is just a big firefight through these temples.
Before we do eventually have to ditch... Oh yeah, so we kind of get up to you finally find your way to this structure, right? And then you do have to jump out of the Scorpion finally at that point. The big structure, and there's like some turrets on the side and whatnot. I hopped into a ghost at this point. Mm-hmm. And Krista, you said you had a ghost the entire time?
Well, I went in the Scorpion up until that point, and then the rest of the time I had a ghost up until you couldn't drive a ghost anymore. But it was literally like, this ghost's about to die. Hop off, immediately capture another one.
Yeah.
Just keep going like that. I was trading them off because there's so many.
I bring my tank all the way up to the actual Pelican drop. I just never get out of it until I have to get out of it.
Yeah.
That's that's more or less what I did too. The Pelican drop, you talking about the reinforcement drop?
Yeah, well, when you get to the main structure, the Pelican drop comes in, and it's the first time where you actually see the weapon containers getting dropped down for you. I'm like, this is so cool. That's what I love about this mission. It's getting these human weapon drops. I think it's awesome. Yeah. Resupplies.
And they're just kind of like slammed into the ground at angles.
Yeah. You can have.
What did you guys pick up at this point then? Did you pick up... I picked up BR and sniper, I believe.
BR
That's what I picked
always.
up.
I think a sniper as well, but I like to give my Marines and ODSTs if they're around power weapons. So if I can, because a lot of them drop in with like the SMG. I'm like, that's pointless.
Right.
So I take it off them and give them a BR, give them a shotgun or whatever. I think you get
One
a
of the
rocket
guys
launcher
had a
there.
shotgun. I was like,
Yeah.
cool. Except he killed me with it once, and I was so pissed off. I was really mad because he was just shooting at the wall and just happened to hit me. I'm like, really, dude? I took away his shotgun after that.
Give me that shotgun. You're in
Don't
timeout.
murder
Go
me.
sit in the corner. There's other holograms throughout the mission of Regret, and he's giving a sermon of sorts. Some of them talk, some of them don't.
All of
Do you
them
guys
are
know-
equally as ugly.
They are in both graphic settings, right? They're just kind of weird to look at.
Senshai-hum are not very attractive.
Yeah, that long neck. I was looking at that long neck, one of the cutscenes today. It's like, that's a really, really long neck. No one needs a neck that long.
They're just like, they just peer into the other room with just their neck. They're like, hello.
It's just a droopy, long, wrinkly neck. It's
Ew.
weird. Very alien. But they do a good job. I feel like Halo does a really good job when you think of the Star Treks of the world and Star Wars. Well, Star Wars does a pretty good job with their aliens, but a lot of the sci-fi is just kind of like, oh, it's a human but with a wrinkly face or something like that.
Yep. Yeah.
But these aliens actually do. I mean, granted, they're all bipeds, but they still do look very different than just humans.
Yeah.
The next area we kind of get to, and I thought the title was great, was Off the Rock Through the Bush, Nothing But Jackal, which is a horse. It's a play off of horse from basketball. And just all this, it's like Jackal Valley, essentially, right? You pop through, down through that waterfall.
Lot of snipers.
And there's just lots of snipers. And this part is rough on Legendary. Very rough. Anytime there's Jackal snipers, it's rough.
There are a lot of Jackal snipers throughout this mission.
I feel like I didn't explore this area, this mission in general. When you're playing on normal, it's not hard, right? It's pretty,
Yeah,
I
you can
died
get
a
through it
couple
pretty
times
easily.
here and there just because I'm being, too Rambo man. but
Yeah, same.
you don't really have to explore that much. But when I was on Legendary, I feel like I was like, okay, I'm gonna go down this side and try to go down on this side of the valley and see if that's gonna help. But nope, okay, I died there. Now I'm gonna go down below. I went down below into the the waterfall basin, and I think that's where I actually ended up having success, like taking everybody out down there. What's your guys' approach on the higher difficulties in this little valley area?
I just snipe as much as possible.
Me too. A lot of sniping, and then there is a sword on the ground if you follow the river under the cave. There's a sword in there, so that's very useful. Also, there's a few other human weapon drops down at the bottom, so they're actually helpful for sniper ammo and whatnot. But yeah, a lot of sniping. I try and avoid the cave because I think there's a lot. I think it spawns in a bunch of buggers.
Drones.
It does, yeah.
A lot of drones, so I try to avoid that if I can.
Oh, so if you don't go in that cave, no drones show up? Is that what you're saying?
I don't think so.
I always find my way to that cave, and I always find myself hating shooting those drones.
Yeah,
They're so much harder in this open area, too, because they can just fly all over the place. But if you can catch them in the cave, you could actually, they're actually a bit more manageable. Because, I mean, it's hard when you're trying to aim at these drones flying off in the air, and then you have this jackal just, eyeing you up, just taking you out from a distance that you may have forgotten to get right away. So this spot is tough. The weapon drop is kind of nice too, which you mentioned. So you get to see some more weapon drops here. I picked up some more sniper ammo. I never picked up a rocket launcher. Did you guys grab a rocket launcher?
No, I really don't play with a rocket launcher.
I like it.
You do here?
Especially, I've done it once or twice, but the rocket launcher I tend to pick up and throw away pretty fast. I may not even use all the ammo in it before I'm dropping it for a sniper or something else.
Yeah.
It's rare that I would give it to the AI because they're not the best with it. They will kill themselves and you.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Stupid AI.
Stupid AI.
So we finally survived this little area, this little valley, and we get to use our headlamp again. Did you guys use your headlamp?
No, I didn't.
Kind of go through this little cave crevasse thing, and it was dark. I was like, hey, I can turn on my headlamp, so I did. And then I needed it for 2 seconds, and I turned it right back off. But yeah, you kind of emerge overlooking the lake now, so you can kind of see these structures off in the distance. You get some sniper. You get to snipe some jackals that are hanging out on the top of that structure there. More supply canisters are here. At this point, I'm kind of feeling like this mission's like, this mission's kind of long, right? Like,
and it's a weird place to put that drop, given what's about to happen.
Well, right, exactly.
So, like, why would you do that? Anyway.
I think that's why, because I was like, I got another drop here. I'm like, I gotta keep going, really? In retrospect, like, it's not a really long mission. But when you find that drop of UNSC weapons, it makes you think that it's going to be longer. But you essentially just kind of clear out this little area here, make it down to the door, and then you're done.
Well, and we get our first encounter with the honor guards.
Yes.
Which are a pain in the ass.
Yes, but they have that sweet armor.
That armor is so sweet. Mm-hmm. They pull out swords and just will sword you directly into the face.
Yes, they will charge you.
Yes, they will.
And sword you.
Rocket launcher's handy here if you have it. In these tight quarters, I like to rocket these bad boys straight away.
Or just sticky grenades will take them out. That's usually what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just sticky grenade them and back up and jump.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you keep jumping, they can't get you. It's kind of funny. They're just like underneath you, swinging at you.
Swiping, right.
That's great.
Yeah, so, and then the mission kind of just is like, boop, all right, here's your screen,
like,
here's how well you did.
Okay, we're done. Here's the cutscene.
You're good. Take a breather. You did it. Yeah. Anything else you guys want to talk to about the? Do you have any fun trivia? Any more fun trivia, David?
For this mission, that's kind of what I got. A lot of it's about the cutscene stuff. Nothing else that really stood out to me. I do have to say I really like this mission. I like Delta Halo.
Yeah.
I think it's a good balance of power weapons, vehicles, getting a lot of resupply drops, which I really appreciate. Don't like using Covenant weapons that much.
Except for the carbine.
Carbine's pretty cool. I don't mind the carbine. Yeah. No, it is good fun. I like this mission a lot. It's fun. It's open. It's varied. It's pretty. It's bright.
And there's lots to do, lots of variation. You get a Warthog, you get a Scorpion. You know, you can use almost all the weapons.
Yeah,
You're kind of meandering through these caves area. Lots to do. You can blaze through it pretty fast if you want, but you know, if you take your time, enjoy the waterfall. It's a nice little mission.
It's a good shoot 'em up mission too. It's just I want to shoot things with I want to shoot things with as many different guns as I possibly can.
Right.
This is the mission for you.
Absolutely. So why don't we just talk about it real quick? So I want to get to the community question that I asked. So I asked the community, which mission do you like better? The first Halo mission from the first Halo game, from Combat Evolved, or this mission? Like, which one is the better mission? They're both different. They're both unique. They both have different impact because Combat Evolved was like the first Halo game, the first time you were on the ring. Whereas this one, you kind of, you know, you've done that before, but you haven't been on the second ring quite yet. So you kind of know your way around what to do. This one throws almost everything at you in terms of your arsenal. What do you like, Krista? What do you prefer? Combat Evolved or Halo 2?
This one's, I feel like Halo 2 is just generally a more cinematic game, and I think that really helps it. I think the stakes are higher when we drop on this ring, and I think we get a lot more stuff. The good thing about the original Halo mission is that it's just the original Halo mission feels alien, while the Halo 2 mission just feels, you know, business as usual. We're on another Halo again. We gotta go kill a prophet.
Just because you've done it before, right?
Yeah.
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 But this area, the ruins really adds the aesthetic to me, and I hadn't even, you know, thought about what you just said before, with, you know, maybe this is where some of the seedings, some of the other species were seeded and hanging out, or when they were hanging out in the Halo before they were going to be reseeded.
Yeah.
That made sense. That makes sense to me. So it helps, you know, when you're coming in and seeing these ruins, you're like, well, this is weird and mysterious. But then replaying it now, knowing everything we know, playing, you know, encountering these ruins again, is like, well, does this really make sense? But it does, you know, based off of what you just said. So that makes it feel, I don't know, more part of the larger lore. It's not just kind of window dressing on the mission.
Yeah. I feel like Halo does a really good job at, like, nothing is here on accident. Like, there's usually some kind of theory or some kind of explanation for pretty much anything you find in a game. It's not just there for, like, oh, this looks really nice there, so we're just gonna plop a bunch of temples down.
Yeah. Yep. Or we're just gonna throw a bunch of temples down just because, oh, you know, it makes it look cool, right? And you're in this old area that's also new, this old area that looks old but is also really advanced technology.
Yeah.
David, how about you?
Which is the best?
Which is the best first Halo mission? So, like,
it's really hard
between Halo and Delta Halo. Which is the best?
Yeah.
Mission?
I've always given, you know, Halo CE my favorite one in the series. So, but I think they're very different. I think I might like Delta Halo more, just on the basis of it is nice, it is wide and varied. But like, so is Halo and CE. Like, you get all the power weapons. There's no tank, I suppose. There's a cool Warhol part. I don't know. I mean, it's got the cool ancient structures. We didn't really know what was going on, and
there's a bridge in both of them. You gotta hit a button.
There's a bridge in both of them. That's
bridge.
True. There's an indoor underground part. There is. Kind of selling it back to myself again. Anyway, we'll see.
There's a sniper part.
I don't know, man. It's pretty good. I mean,
there's a waterfall.
They're very different, but like, I know we're calling on a lot of similarities, but like, yeah, I don't know. I think
you need to pick.
Pick one. I know.
All right, David. We only have so much time.
I'll say Delta because I think it does have more going on, and I know we're going to get into the next mission as well. I have trouble breaking those two apart, so I always think of them together. I think together they suit really well, and I think I like how they roll one into the other. I like your objective in this is like go kill a prophet. That's really cool. That's really dramatic. Do you know what I mean? In terms of how high that is, you're killing one of the 3 leaders of the Covenant. Like, that's such a huge big deal, even for like in terms of the lore and like what you're trying to achieve, and that you're pretty much following up on the original mission that you were supposed to be doing in CE, which was to infiltrate and capture a prophet, which we talked about before, like Operation Red Flag, of like that's what they were trying to do, and that all fell apart at the very start when the Covenant showed up on Reach. So I liked it. It's just continuing that and kind of closing off that little kind of story of something that you started to do. It's pretty cool.
So
I'm gonna go on. Delta Halo.
So you're Delta Halo. So you're saying you hate Combat Evolved. Okay, got it.
I hate
All
you.
right, yeah, it's okay.
I
We'll burn
will,
every
Stupid
single
show.
copy in existence just for you, David.
I hate this show. It's dumb.
I will say, I'll go with Halo from Combat Evolved. Just in the main difference, I really like both missions. Let me say that. This one feels, there's a lot of variety, but it also feels more like a tunnel than Halo did. It's more when you're landing on the ring originally, it's huge, wide open, and at the end of the mission, there's a bunch of different paths to take, which I think is kind of setting the tone for the series in general. And there's obviously the nostalgia factor. I think there's probably more to do in this mission in Delta Halo, but Halo, that mission, just helps kind of set the tone, and it's big. It feels big, and there's lots of different ways to attack that mission. So I'm gonna go with that one. That's my answer. What do the community
That's the
say?
one I want.
What do the community say, David?
And we got a couple of responses. So from
There's
the
some on
Facebook.
Discord too, if you want to pop it.
There's a lot on Discord. Discord's very wordy.
Okay, well you can summarize.
Let's see what I can get. Yeah. So looking at the Halo one, and Halo Facebook. James M. Scott says, "Both were awesome. Combat Evolved was your childhood. Inspired me to join the Marines. Holy crap. Medically disqualified. Damn. Maybe proud to be a Halo fan back. I am today. Fair play, James.
That's cool.
Right. Riley Taylor says 3 technically because the mission has a Halo ring as well. Whatever, get out of here. Riley.
Spoilers.
Brad kind of touches on what I'm thinking as well, like how can you choose between greatness over greatness. Both missions are amazing in their own ways. The Scorpion section landing on top in a drop pod, fighting the ODST and then drop holograms. It is pretty damn cool. Halo's great for other reasons. The open world feel, launching the Warthog off the hills, like I said, is pretty cool. Each area requires a different strategy to approach, and of course the first time in the series you get to be on the very namesake of the game will always have a good feel. Also the fact that the mission's just called Halo, which is kind of what I like as well. Lance says, Delta Halo for me because there's just something about how all the architecture looked that made it more mysterious than how the ring looked in Combat Evolved. Fair enough. That's a good enough response. From the Discords, which is the first time I think we've done the Discords. We have Ghost saying, Delta Halo matches bum me way to this day. Halo is fun, but Delta Halo is another level. Ghost also says different route, like he says he likes same. Everyone likes kind of the open way field, but there's a bunch of different ways to take on Delta Halo as well. If you don't use the tank, you're wrong. But I think not using the tank makes it more challenging in some ways. So if you're trying to take the Warhog through,
For sure.
it's probably way harder. Goalie Sniper says CE because the opening, walking out of the pod and looking up and turning around, seeing the huge cliff. Get goosebumps every time. So driving around and collecting as many Marines as possible. Wide open landscape, which you can choose groups to save first, but in saying that, the opening cinematic at Delta Halo is incredible, indeed. And that's pretty much it. The first thing I did with the gondolas, gondolas sucked. No one likes gondolas. But, that's the next mission.
Yeah. That's
Okay, guys.
Very nice. Cool. Thanks for everybody that responded, as always. Krista, let's talk some Terminal.
Okay. This is actually one of the shorter ones. We do get a lot of cool, this one is a Sanshayum scribe that is kind of describing some of the history that they have between the Sangheili and specifically the Arbiters that the Sangheili have. We get a lot of really cool shots of early Sangheili kind of civilization, and the planet, of course, because Sanghelios is a pretty cool place, I've heard. So, when, before the Covenant actually found the Sangheili, the Sangheili were a very warrior race. It was a lot of different clans fighting against each other. We kind of get a glimpse into that. The Arbiter was kind of either the ruler or the king over many of the clans, so he was kind of this end-all be-all, part king, part judge. Yeah. He was a warrior ruler over all of these clans because in their history they were warring so much that it was almost impossible for any technology to be built, and they were at a stalemate because of all of the fighting. So the Arbiter kind of ruled over them and kind of united this civilization in some respects because they became spacefaring before the Sanshihim actually found them. So the Sanshihim show up and they're like, I like your Forerunner artifacts, we'll be taking those. And the Sangheili, who worship the Forerunner artifacts and do not like touching them, they're just kind of temples, not to be messed with. And of course the Sanshihim always liked to learn from their technology and use it to their advantage. So they didn't get along very much. So the war happened, all that stuff happened, and then the scribe talks about, what happens after the war and how they made the Arbiter, just basically their right hand. It was their warrior in order for them to send out and do stuff, because the Sanshihim don't do anything. So, long and short, the Arbiter used to be leader of the Sangheili, and now they are puppets of the prophets.
Mm-hmm. They are indeed.
Bum, bum, bum.
Dun, dun, dun. All right. So one thing I did forget is the skull. I forgot to look that up. Or I forgot to find it, essentially. But I always forget to find them. When you're driving the Scorpion, at the very end, we already talked about, we're at the very end where you can't drive the Scorpion anymore. And there's all those turrets, and that's where you get kind of the drop of the first weapon drop in there. It's in there. You gotta jump around, kind of in the back corner. I'm not gonna really describe it, but you gotta jump around and find it. Look up a guide. It's in there. It's the Envy Skull. If you want, do you get
College
10
tips? Look up a guide.
Yeah, exactly. Do you get 10 achievement points for it? Is that what you get?
Skulls? I think there are 10 gamer score.
Okay.
For the skulls. I think so.
So if you're a completionist, go grab it. But as we mentioned before, all the skulls in Halo 2 are weird. But it is there. All right, anything else before we close? We'll go hunt down Regret. We're going to go get him next.
Oh, yeah. He's going to regret that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Nice.
See what you did there.
Yeah. All the regret puns next episode.
All right, that'll do it for our debriefing of the Delta Halo mission from Halo 2. On our next episode, we will be covering Regret. Send us your thoughts at podcastevolved@gmail.com or drop us a tweet at podcastevolved on Twitter. Until next time, evolved.
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 Bye.